Hey everyone, how you all doing? Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm doing another tier ranking video. So I haven't done a tier ranking video in a little while. I was trying to think of things to do and I came up with an idea that I'm actually quite proud of. I don't know if anybody else has done this, but basically I've been on BookTube for 5 years now, so that means that every year I've made a favorite books of the year video, except for this year obviously because we're not at the end of the year. So I have 4 videos on my channel talking about my favorite books of the year, and I thought that it would be really fun to compile all of those books into a tier maker list and rank them for you guys, because some of these books I no longer like, or I may have changed my opinions on them, and so I think this is going to be a really fun video to do. So if you're excited, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe down below if you want to see more videos from me, and hit the notification bell beside it so you never miss a video. And let's just get right into the ranking. Okay, so first let's go through all of my tiers here. I only have 5. So the first one is would die for this book, meaning it's like an all-time favorite. I will not stop shouting about it from the rooftops kind of situation. And then we have it's golden, meaning it's great, one of my faves, but not quite that like would die for this tier. Then we have a solid fave, so I still love it, but not necessarily like those top tiers. It can stay, I guess, meaning it's okay. Maybe I don't know if I would still like it if I were to reread it now. And then the last one is how did this get here? Meaning why did I ever put this on a favorites video list? Okay, so I have tons of books here because like I said, I have been on BookTube for 5 years now. I have 4 of these videos out, so we've got a lot of books to get through. I've also added some of the honorary mentions that I had in those videos as well, since they were like almost on the favorites list. And even like in rewatching them to get these books, I realized that some of the books on the honorary mentions should have just been on the list. So let's just get into this. So the first book here is Define Me by Tahereh Mafi. I don't know where I want this to go because this is one of my favorite series of all time, but I feel like Define Me, I feel like it's a solid fave. I do like the other books more, but right now I'm gonna leave it in a solid fave and I might come back to it. And then we have Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I feel like if you had asked me this before I reread it last year, I would have put it in like it's golden. I think I'm gonna put it in a solid fave though, because while I still enjoy it, it's a fun book, it's just not quite what I remember it being. I think there are some just like unique reading experiences where you read a book for the first time and it's so magical and you're learning everything firsthand. Obviously you've never read the book before, and then you don't get the same reactions the second time around, so I feel like that happened with Carry On, so it's a solid fave. And then we have The Archived by Victoria Schwab. This is one of my favorite books, obviously. For now I'm gonna put it in it's golden. It is one of my favorite Victoria Schwab books. There's just something about it. I love the atmosphere of it. I love the characters and the relationship in it. It's just really cute, and so it's gonna go in it's golden for now. Then we have The Unexpected Everything. Ooh, I'm gonna put, oh, it's either it's golden or would die for this book. I think I'm gonna put it in it's golden. I feel like the would die for this book tier just needs to be reserved for my absolute favorite books of all time. The Unexpected Everything has to go in it's golden. Then we have The Fill-In Boyfriend by Casey West, and I feel like this automatically is just a solid fave. It's just like a cute, simple, contemporary fake dating, and it's really adorable and I really enjoy it, but I don't think it quite hits that it's golden tier. Then we have When Dimple Met Rishi, and honestly I would die for this book. I would die for this entire series, honestly. It's so good and I'm sad that it's over now, but definitely I think I would die for When Dimple Met Rishi. It's so good. History's All You Left Me, I feel like I would also die for this book. I need to do a reread of it because I haven't read it since that first read, but it is so good. It broke me into a million pieces, but I love the book a lot, so I feel like it definitely needs to be and would die for this book. Then we have Dumplin', and it can stay, I guess. No, it has to go and would die for this book as well. Definitely one of my all-time favorites. I haven't reread it in a little while. Maybe I'll reread it this year, who knows, but it just gives me all of those like warm, happy feelings, and I don't even know why, but I really love this book and I just connect to it a lot. It has to go and would die for this book. Why is the Nerve Volume 2 Gone Rogue? It's one of these 2 categories. I think for now I'm gonna put it in its golden, but I might move it up to would die for this book. Monday's Not Coming was a favorite of 2018, and I would die for this book. It's heartbreaking, it's sad, it's all of those kind of adjectives, and I definitely recommend it. I definitely want to reread it. I'm just kind of like, I need to be emotionally prepared to reread that book because it's so heavy, but it is so good. I loved the writing of it. I just loved everything about that book. Then we have Put In, and I feel like this one's gonna go in it's golden. I just didn't love it quite as much as Dumplin', but I still really love it. It's just so cute. I loved having Millie as one of the main characters, and is it Callie? Callie as the other main character. I just really enjoyed seeing more of them, specifically Millie, but I just kind of missed having Willow, Dean, and Bo in the forefront of the story, so for that one, it's golden. Thunderhead. This was a favorite of 2018, and it was actually tied with Scythe. I think I'm gonna go down to the list and get Scythe in a second. I reread this earlier in the year. I have a whole reading vlog for this series. I'll link it up above in the cards. I tried to read the entire series in 3 days, and I feel like Thunderhead, when I first read it, probably would have been and would die for this book because I just could not stop raving about the series. But after a reread, I think I'm just gonna put it in a solid fave because that just feels right to me, so I'm just gonna grab Scythe as well and just put Scythe up there. They're good, they're really good, but I feel like upon rereading it, some of the novelty had worn off, which is really unfortunate because I really did love that series. I feel good about putting those in a solid fave for right now, although depending what else I put in this category, I might move them down to It Can Stay, I guess. And then we have I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. I feel like this one's gonna be a solid fave. I really do love this book. This was a favorite of last year. I feel like it doesn't quite stack up to the books in these two categories. I really loved it, but it took me a while to get into the writing style, I think, if I remember correctly. I don't remember why, but the writing style for me was just a little bit hard. But I really loved the characters, and the romance is really, really cute, so it's definitely just like a solid fave. I do want to reread it soon. I loved the anxiety rep in it. That was really important to me and it meant a lot. And then we have The Hate You Give, and I would definitely die for The Hate You Give. It is so good. It deserves all the hype that it gets. It's just so good, so powerful, so amazing, and so definitely deserves to be in Would Die for this book. 100,000,000%. Then we have Red Queen. Ooh, okay. I really loved this book when I first read it, and I even really enjoyed it upon rereading it, but then continuing on with the series, it's not a favorite by any means. I definitely won't be putting any of the later books on a favorites list ever. So I think this one can stay because I still really like this first book. I think they just got really, really long and really, I don't know, but the first one, it can stay. And then we have Geekerella by Ashley Poston. This one, I would die for. I just read Bookish and the Beast, and I'm so sad that the series is over. I just want to live in this universe forever, but definitely would die for it. It's just so cute, and Ashley Poston is like so good at doing fairy tale retellings, but making them modern and making them nerdy. It's so good, and I would definitely die for this book and for the series, and I'm just, yep, it belongs up there. It does. Then we have Landline by Rainbow Rowell. I feel like it's golden. I really, really love this book. It's become like a yearly reread for me around Christmas time because that's kind of when it takes place. It's just something about like the time travel aspect of it, about how, you know, she has like this phone that like allows her to talk to her husband from the past. I don't know. I just really, really enjoy it. Then we have Winter by Marissa Meyer, and hell yeah, I would die for this book. It's my favorite in the Lunar Chronicle series. I think one of the reasons why it's my favorite is because it has all of the characters in it, because it's the last book, so we get to see all the characters together. It's really intense, and it's funny, and it's cute. I love it a lot. I really like series finales for the most part, and this one was one of my favorites, so definitely I would die for that book. Then we have P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han. I don't know if it's golden or it's just a solid fave. I think I'm gonna put it in a solid fave for right now. I don't know. I feel really torn on this one. I don't know if I'm just remembering the movie and it's like tainting my feelings in any way. I think I'm gonna keep it there for now. Then we have Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. I read this kind of before everyone started hating on her book and pointing out the problematic aspects. I don't know if anyone has said anything negative about this one in particular, but I really, really enjoyed it when I first read it. I thought it was really cute, but I don't know if I would like it if I were to reread it, especially with all the critiques about Colleen Hoover's books that have come out in the past few years. So I think I'm gonna put It Can Stay because I remember really, really loving it, so I understand why it's on the list. So I can't put How Did This Get Here. I just don't know if I would still enjoy it to this day. Then we have A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab, and I think I would also die for this book. Would I die for this book, or is it golden? I think I would die for this book. I think I'm gonna just get a more deep appreciation for it when I reread the entire series, but it's just so good. It's my favorite in the trilogy. I just love the characters so much, and I feel like everything is just so intense and crazy in this book, and I just got so invested by this point, so I definitely think that I would die for that book. It's just so good, and Victoria Schwab is just such a queen with words. Blue Lily Lily Blue by Maggie Stiefvater, which is my favorite obviously in the Raven Boys series. This was a favorite of last year. I think I'm gonna put it in It's Golden. I think that just feels right to me. I mean, as a whole, I think I would die for this series, maybe, but I don't think it's quite up there yet. Maybe it's like a few rereads, but I think for right now it's really golden. I really enjoy it. I love the characters. I feel like that's why most people read the Raven Cycle series, is for the characters and like the atmosphere of it, but I really loved the characters and I became so invested in them. So definitely It's Golden. We have Second Chance Summer, which definitely is amazing. I think it's gotta go in It's Golden as well. I really loved it. This one's a tear jerker. I could not stop crying when I read this book. I was freaking hysterical. So definitely It's Golden. The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. I think a solid fave. I've reread it this year. This was a 2017 favorite, I think. And I actually think it was a honorary mention along with Simon Versus. But Simon Versus, I'm gonna put in Would Die for this book. I'm gonna move Upside of Unrequited actually to It's Golden because it has anxiety rep, which I enjoy. But I remember loving it a lot. I really love the romance. I think it's so pure and cute. So definitely It's Golden and Simon in Would Die for this book because it's definitely one of my favorite books of all time. I just think it's so funny and so cute and oh, I love it a lot. So those are both honorary mentions of 2017. How crazy is that an honorary mention has made it into Would Die for this book? And while I was rewatching the video, I was so shocked because I didn't remember putting in honorary mentions and I just kept going on and on about how like it just didn't feel right. Like it just didn't feel that connection to put in favorites. And I'm like, you idiot. It's obviously a favorite book. Ooh, Everything by Nicola Yoon. I have not reread this book, but I love the movie and I loved the book when I read it. I think I'm gonna put it in a solid fave. See, it's so hard when I've never reread the book or if it's been so long since I've read it that I just don't know where it belongs. I think this was a 2017 favorite as well. It's really cute. I love the romance and the plot twist really got me. Yeah, I think it's just a solid fave. I think if I were to reread it, I could bump it up to It's Golden, but for right now, I don't know. I always, whenever I do these videos, I always try to compare with the other books in the categories to see if I feel like it belongs. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it in a solid fave for right now. So then we have Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. This one, I think I'm gonna just put it in It's Golden. I feel like as a whole, I would probably like maybe die for the series, but just Lady Midnight, I think it's just It's Golden. You know what, while we're here, let's pull up Queen of Air and Darkness because this is also my favorites list, but this was a favorite of last year. I think this one would also be It's Golden. I know a lot of people didn't like Queen of Air and Darkness, or it's like their least favorite in the series, but it's actually my favorite in the series, so I'm just gonna put it in It's Golden for now, but that one could also potentially move to a die for this book. And we have Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. This was a 2018 favorite. I would die for this book 100%. I just reread it and it just, the anxiety rep, the fandom, the writing, all of the things, I connect to this book so deeply. That one has to be in Would Die for this book. Like it has to be. Then we have The Storied Life of AJ Fikry by Gabrielle Zevin. I also just reread this book. This one I feel like is a solid favorite. If you had asked me this like a few years ago before I'd ever done a reread of it, it probably would be in Would Die for this book, but upon rereading it the past few years, I do really love it, of course, and it's a really quick read. I always read it in a sitting and it's fun. I've annotated it twice now. For some reason I don't feel as deeply connected to it as I did when I first read it when I was 15. Like I think this was a 2015 favorite book. I think I'm quite comfortable with it being just a solid fave. We have Augie and Me by RJ Palacio. This is 3 stories within like the Wonder universe, I guess, and like different characters' point of views and whatnot. I feel weird not putting it in one of the top 3, but I've never reread it and honestly I don't remember a lot from it. I have to put it in a solid fave just because putting any book to do with Wonder and It Can Stay, I guess, hurts my soul a little bit. I feel like I'm betraying my favorite book of all time, so I'm just gonna put it in solid fave kind of by default. Then we have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was a favorite from last year. I feel like it's a solid fave as well. I really enjoyed it. The next one we have The Unbecoming Amara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. I believe this was also a 2015 favorite. I feel like this one also has to just go in a solid fave because I really love this series. I love the characters, I love the story, but I feel like this one in particular definitely is a solid fave. And then we have Revenge Ice Cream and Other Things Best Served Cold. This is by Katie Finn, who is Morgan Matson, and I really do love this series, but I feel like it can just stay. So I don't remember it very much. I have never read it, so I don't really know what I would think of it now. So definitely I think that it can just stay. And then we have Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. Ooh, I don't know if it's a solid fave or It Can Stay. I've never reread it. I did try to reread it and I just wasn't in the mood, so I put it down. I'm gonna put it in It Can Stay, I guess. Oh, we have A Walk to Remember by Nicholas Sparks. This was probably a 2015 favorite, a 2016 favorite. It is one of my favorite movies, but I just reread the book. I think it was last year. It's not as good as the movie, and I think this is something that I'm learning the older that I get, that I just much prefer Nicholas Sparks' movies, and sometimes not even then, over his book. books. I think it's gonna go in how did this get here? Because I honestly don't know how little me thought that I loved this book. How the hell did this get here? It belongs at the very bottom of this list. What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. I wonder where this will go. I would die for What If It's Us. It's just, oh, it's so cute. This book is just so cute. I adore it with my entire heart. I read it in basically a sitting. It's just adorable. I love Arthur and Ben so much. And plus Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera, two of like favorite authors, doing a book together has to be a top tier book. Okay, and then we have I'll Be There For You, the one about friends. This was another favorite of last year. This one is It's Golden. Then we have Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I don't know if this is a solid fave or it's golden. It's definitely not would die for this book, even though I really love it, and I feel like Peyton is just screaming at me right now for even considering putting it anywhere but in that top tier. I think it's gonna be a solid fave. I feel like it fits in with the other books in this category. For me personally, it just doesn't stack up to the other books on this list. So then we have A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahara Mafi, and this one I feel like has to go and would die for this book. I love it a lot. It made me cry. I also read this book in a sitting. If you look at my copy, it's heavily tabbed. Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. Ooh, is this gonna be my second How Did This Get Here book? I don't know. See, I feel like if I put it in It Can Stay, it's a little misleading because I wouldn't consider this book to be a favorite. I mean, I know why it got here because it was a favorite back in 2015, obviously, if it was on my list. But upon rereading it, it was actually kind of painful to get through. I think I was putting in It Can Stay because I feel kind of guilty putting it in How Did This Get Here. I feel like I'm betraying past me. They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. It's either It's Golden or would die for this book. This book's really heartbreaking. I don't know, I was really attached to this book and it made me sob. So I think I would die for this book, honestly. Again, But Better by Christine Riccio. This was a favorite of last year. I really loved this book. I feel like it's golden. It has to be. That just feels right to me, you know? Supernova would die for this book. Would I die for this book? Yeah, I feel like I'd die for that book. We also have Arch Enemies here. I feel like Arch Enemies would also would die for this book. I just really love that series. It's really fun. I would say that definitely Renegades is my least favorite in the series just because it took me a while to actually get invested in the story. Then we have Queen of Shadows by Sarah J Maas, which I also feel like can stay. You know, we'll just plop it next to Throne of Glass. And then we have A Court of Thorns and Roses, which I did just reread and actually did enjoy. I did prefer Akamath out of all the books, but I feel like I'm gonna put it in a solid fave. Then we have Bloodlines by Rochelle Mead. I feel like it's golden. It has to be. It's a really fun series. It's a spin-off of Vampire Academy. You know, it's got Adrian Ivishkov as one of the main characters, so naturally for just that reason alone, it's one of those top tiers. Then we have Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy, which I feel like was a 2018 favorite. This one is also, I think, and it's golden. I really loved this one. I mean, it's a whole novella, a collection about Simon Lewis, who is one of my favorite characters from the entire universe. So I feel like it just has to be up there. The Duff by Cody Keplinger. I think I'm gonna put it in It Can Stay because I know that I love the movie, but I've never reread the book, and the book is very different from the movie. So I don't know if I would still like it. I kind of want to reread it in like the next year or two just to kind of see if I still like the book. So I feel like it can definitely just stay. And then we have A Legend by Marie Lu, and it's golden. I love this series a lot. I want to do a reread of it maybe soon. It's just a really fun series. It's dystopian. It's one of the classic dystopians. I love June and Day, but definitely it's golden. It's really fun. I reread it a couple years ago and just had an absolute blast. We have A Clockwork Princess, and who would I be if I didn't put this and would die for this book? I mean, Will Herondale, Jem Carstairs, Tessa Gray, I mean, come on. And then we have Unravel Me and Ignite Me because I tied them together in that video, so I just found a picture that had them both together because I could not pick a favorite. If I were to pick a favorite now, it definitely would be Ignite Me. But I would die for these books, honestly. They're just really fun. I mean, Warner, Kenji, come on. It has to be. So this is my final ranking. I feel quite good about this list. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a huge thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Like I said at the beginning of the video, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future uploads. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!